Hi, my name is Lily and I've been making soap since I was 13 years old. Welcome to my YouTube channel where every Friday I share a new recipe with you. Today we are making a perfect rose soap, special for Valentine's Day, but of course you can make this soap any time of the year. Let's get to it. The first thing I'm gonna do with this recipe is measure out all of my oils. So I have my coconut oil, my olive oil, my palm oil, and my castor oil here. I measured all of that out. I did make my lye prior, so that is cooling off outside. Make sure that you make your lye outside. If you do not know how to make lye, then you can check out my online course for beginners. I will put the link down below. Once all of my oils are measured out, I then melted them down, and I wanted to just make sure that they were at a melting point, not too hot. You don't want to cook your oils. Make sure they're not steaming or bubbling or any of that, just slightly melted. Then once all of my temperatures are around 100 degrees, I like to have my sodium hydroxide in this recipe at around 90 to 100 degrees, and then my oils at 100 to 120 degrees. Once my oils and sodium hydroxide were at the right temperatures, I was then ready to mix everything together. So I added in my sodium hydroxide, I added in my lye to my oils, and I hand whisked that in. I always hand whisk my oils because I don't want anything to seize or get too hot or anything like that. Hand whisking your batch is a great way to avoid seizing and avoid getting your temperatures too hot, because the more you mix your soap, the hotter it's going to get. Mixing soap and making soap is an exothermic reaction, which means it releases heat. So the more you mix it, the hotter it's going to get. So we're going to make sure that we hand whisk until we are comfortable. I hand whisked everything to a light trace and then added in my essential oils. The essential oils I also hand whisked. Make sure that you're not blending in your essential oils, because essential oils are a huge catalyst and we don't want to speed up that reaction of saponification. Hand whisked my essential oils in and then separated my batch into two different parts. I'm going to be making two colors here. We're going to make an orange with turmeric and then a pink with a pink kaolin clay. And I'm hand whisking to make sure that I'm watching my trace. We don't want anything to get too thick or seize up on us. I added in both clay and turmeric into my two different sides of soap batter, whisked that in with the turmeric. The one downside with the pink clay is that you have to blend it in order to get it fully mixed in and get that bright pink color. So that's why I was making sure that I had low temperatures with this batch and that I was hand whisking it to avoid it from reaching a super thick trace too fast. Because if we get a thick trace too fast, then we won't be able to get our colors fully mixed in. So once I got the turmeric mixed in there, I whisked the pink clay a little bit and then took the blender and I only did a few pulses, like literally pulsed it 1 or 2 times until there were not really any chunks left. Notice how I only did a few pulses and I'm hand whisking quickly. I don't want to get this super thick. We're just making sure that the color gets mixed in. Once my colors were all mixed in and I had my batters at a medium trace, I was then ready to pour into my mold. I'm super excited about this soap because we're going to be layering it, and a medium trace is just perfect for this. Whichever color you want on the bottom, you want that to be your thickest trace. So I am going to be putting my pink on the bottom. That's my thickest trace. The clay sits really well as a bottom layer too. So we're just going to scoop that in there. You'll notice it's getting really thick as it just sits in my bowl. So we got that into the mold really quick. Never waste any soap, so scrape all of that out of there. I took my spatula, got every last drop, and then flattened out by just shaking it about. I want a nice flat line between my layers, so I used my spatula to flatten it and make sure that there were no ridges or bumps. I I'm just shaking it and setting it down on the counter to make sure that there are no air bubbles. That's something that I like to do. I gave my turmeric batter a good whisk and then poured it into my mold alongside my spatula. You'll see this was getting really thick really fast, so you do want to work kind of quickly with this, and that's why it's very important not to overblend your soap. But again, got every last drop of soap into my mold. This one was looking like sherbet or sorbet. I then used my spatula to flatten out that top. I don't want any weird ridges. I am going to texture the top, but I like to even it out. I'm going to shake it out a bit, make sure that there are no air bubbles, and I just do that by setting it down on the counter like so. And then clean up my edges, of course. I always keep a clean workspace. Professional soapers are always very clean and patient. I'm going to clean up my edges here. I'm going to wait just a few minutes, about 3 to 5 minutes, for my soap batter to set, and then I'm going to texturize the top using a little spoon spatula that I have. You can use a regular silver spoon if that's all that you have available. Just like this, I'm just going to drag the side into the middle to create a little mountain top, and I'm pushing into the soap about 1/2 inch. I'm going to do this on both sides, and I'm just going to texturize and go over it until I'm happy with it. I then took some dried lavender buds and I sprinkled those on top and down the middle. I think that this was super pretty. Dried florals and botanicals and herbs and stuff are always a great addition to your soaps. I just press those in. Make sure that you add more than you originally wanted to, because they will fall off when you cut them, so that's just a nice little extra tip. Making sure to press those in so that they don't fall out. And there you have it, a perfect rose soap special for Valentine's Day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and comment down below how this recipe worked for you. I also have a Discord chat that you can join if you have any questions or need soap making help. And don't forget to check out my Instagram channel at handmade_soap club. Cheers!